Hey water signs, welcome back to my channel. This is Jen with Lighthouse Oracle bringing you another energy forecast reading. This time it's going to be for the next 7 days from whenever you're watching this video, which means that this is a timeless reading. So whenever you click on the reading, that's for the following 7 days. I wanted to change the format just because I don't know. I was meditating on it and it just kind of came up like, hey, why not just do 7 days? Who knows when someone will come across this like way in the future and it resonates still, and that'd be really, really cool. So this is for all of my water signs, whether you are Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. We're going to dive in with the tarot cards first to give me an idea of what the energy that is coming in the next 7 days will look like. And then we're going to follow with oracle cards for additional messages and advice, and then closing with some charms. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All the decks that I use in my readings can be found in the description box down below. Ooh, that's fast. So I'm gonna draw 7 cards, one for each day. That's what I'm going with now. That's the flow. That's the way we're going. Let's see. Okay. A lot of 4s here, first of all. Oh, nope, that's not my... That is not what I want to do. Oops, okay. But I hope you're having a great day or night whenever you're watching. Yeah, while I was meditating and putting an intention for this reading, I was like, it would be really cool if my, forecast readings didn't expire or didn't, because I feel like that's what it is. Like once, say I did my reading for, April 11th through the 18th, then from then on, it doesn't, I feel like it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, does it even count anymore? It doesn't feel like it counts, right? So that's why here I am doing this, because I feel like, and this is my intention for this. And I feel like if it reaches whoever it needs to reach and the message resonates and it applies, then why not? Oh, okay. We're gonna take that one because it flew out. Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords again. So I did the fire sign reading first because I'm gonna put her right here. Maybe I'll just layer it a little bit. But I had whenever I do my readings, this is just like a quick behind the scenes, but whenever I decide to do my readings, I will kind of draw out of a bag what zodiac sign, like what zodiac group goes first, and that's how I proceed. But let's get into it. We have the 4 of Air, which is the 4 of Swords, the Tower, the 4 of Earth, which is the 4 of Pentacles, the Messenger of Water, which is the Knight of Cups, the 6 of Air, which is 6 of Swords, the 3 of Earth, 3 Pentacles, and then closing with the Ace of Swords, which is Ace of Air. So I do see this like sequentially, like days 1 through 7, and I definitely see a big shift coming like right off the bat with the 4 of Swords. Perhaps in the beginning of the week, beginning of this 7-day period, it's like you're coming out of a resting phase, and I feel like the Tower card being like wedged in between these two 4s. The 4 of Pentacles talks about, a fear of change and trying to like long-term stability. If you see the in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, you have like a person sitting down. There's like 1 pentacle under his feet. He's holding 2, and there's 1 on his head. So it's like he can't really move. So there isn't enough room for energy to flow back in because he's not like, his hands are all full, his feet are full, he can't stand up, it's kind of like being stuck. And the 4 of Swords definitely talks about, resting and renewal and rejuvenation. And with the Tower card, I feel being in the middle here. During the beginning of the 7-day period, there's definitely a shift in terms of that stuckness. Like things are shifting, things are moving now, right? The Tower is like unexpected, like big changes, and I feel like you're coming out of a resting period. Following through with the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups is definitely that like hopeless romantic type of an energy, very, you know, emotion forward, very passionate, very nurturing. And I feel like, you know, with this big shift and change, you know, during the middle of the 7-day period, you may have to be very patient with yourself and very nurturing and loving towards yourself because of this big change. You may end up, you know, criticizing yourself a bit too harshly because it's like, oh man, I didn't expect all this. Was I even prepared for this big change? No one can prepare you for this kind of change. But as it's happening, you can help yourself feel much more secure about it, right? Change is always happening, whether it's intentional or it happens for your highest good that you weren't expecting. But when it's kind of like, I'm getting that message where, you know, when you're talking about like a pilot and they're flying, would you rather that pilot, like you sitting on a plane and there's a bunch of turbulence and the captain's like, oh, hey, you know, it's fine, things are fine, you're fine, everything's good, don't worry about it. Like, would that make you feel more at ease, or would, you know, a kind of a preparation where it's like, hey, we may run into some turbulence, don't worry about it, just make sure you're in your seat, things like that, wouldn't you feel much better with that in mind? Like, it's not a paranoia, it's more just like, okay, well, I know how to kind of address it or approach it if should it happen to me, right? And I feel like that will help you move forward with the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is all about change and maybe perhaps even traveling. You know, I was talking about a plane, and, you know, the captain, you know, and speaking, and I definitely see that here with the Six of Air. It's like a giant ship, maybe a cruise, or just travel in general, something to be aware of. The Three of Pentacles coming after talks about teamwork, building bonds, kind of just working together towards a similar goal. So we're getting out of this resting period and we're traveling and kind of working with both ourselves and with other people in order to gain more clarity, more mental clarity, more making more sense of why all this had to happen, essentially. And it's interesting too, because in the fire sign reading, I also received the Six of Swords and the Ace of Swords too. So if you have fire signs in your chart, I would take a look at that reading as well. But that's what I'm seeing for this incoming week. Definitely, you know, we're getting out of hibernation season. Excuse my French, shit's happening. And you're either going to, and I don't want to say sink or swim, but I definitely feel like preparing yourself, you know, realizing that, you know, being so secure in your own mental and emotional stability that whatever happens won't shake you. It might be like, oh, okay, oh, well, I felt that coming, so I'm fine, right? Instead of like, oh my gosh, this is terrible and awful and everything's going to crap and I can't handle it and it's very overwhelming. Of course, when things come unexpected and unwarned and, you know, unwarranted, it's definitely a lot scarier. But when we can prepare ourselves and, you know, it's like not keeping like your eye open all the time, staying awake throughout the night, but just like okay, if this happens, so be it. You know, I'm prepared for that energy. So let's look into your oracle cards now and see what other message Spirit has for you for the next 7 days. But in the middle of this is the Knight of Cups, which is water energy too. So a lot of water, a lot of air. a lot of sword, air energy, a lot of earth. Pretty balanced because the only fire here is the tower, and the tower is pretty big, so it definitely. Ooh, okay, that is. And it's the one. Oh, it fell on the floor. Okay. Oh my gosh. So we have work through your fears, new moon, and Scorpio. So, I mean, we definitely have Scorpio in the house. So perhaps this may be more highlighted for Scorpios, but working through your fears. Right, you gotta nurture yourself, working through your fears. And it's not saying to be paranoid and always on the lookout, but when you work through them, it gets easier and easier to handle. It's like, maybe maybe you have a fear of speaking in public, and the only way to do it is to work through it, right? Start with a small crowd and work your way up. Start with one person if you need to. Work on how you speak. And it's like, instead of being paranoid and it's like, okay, I'm just never gonna speak in public again, but you want public recognition, so then the only way to do it is to work through it instead of working against it and working against yourself, right? So, very interesting. Wow, that's Scorpio energy. Love it, love it. Next, let's move into the Wild Offering Oracle deck. Let's see. What other message for water signs does Spirit have for the next 7 days? Ooh, love. Okay. So this one, if we look at it together, it says, it's not about finding love. You are love itself. Help me, Lord, to send so much compassion and caring to the inner child that I always remember. I myself am love. So that's beautiful. And see, you have to have love for yourself as well during this process, and having that nurturing energy towards yourself, because you're also experiencing this unexpected change for the first time. If not, because even though it's like maybe the same kind of scenario, it's a different version of the same scenario. So you're still experiencing something different. And so when we allow ourselves to have more compassion and more patience with ourselves, it's a lot easier to process these emotions. It's a lot easier to process the change, right? So that's what I see. Bring more love into this. The Knight of, like I said, the Knight of Cups is a very hopeless romantic, but also just like, and I don't want to say to just always wear rose-colored glasses or rose-tinted glasses when looking at a situation, and maybe even seeing yourself through those lenses so that you can build up the confidence to face your fears and work through them, and, you know, collaborate with other people. Perhaps I'm getting a bit of a, like an introvert trying to be more extroverted type of an energy, but a bit of social anxiety coming through. So, you know, you gotta love yourself first, and you gotta, you know, remember you're doing this for the first time, and this is all just part of the experience. You are a soul having a human experience, and it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous. But we gotta work through our fears. So let's get the cards from my Tea Leaf Oracle. I decided to just keep them in the pouch and just draw 3 from them, just because look how many cards there are. And I can't shuffle them by hand, so, and I didn't want like any decks, any part of these to be left out. So what is Fortune Spirit cards for water signs for the incoming 7 days, next 7 days. Okay. Ooh, all right. So we have funnel, period of frustrations, lessons to be learned. Okay, so like I said, maybe this tower moment is going to cause you to feel a bit unearthed, a bit unstable, but being, you know, reminding yourself that you are love and that you are just you are a human, you are a soul having a human experience. And so, you know, the frustration happens. Allow it to come and allow it to go. Allow yourself to feel frustrated. That's fine. But don't allow yourself to stay stuck there, right? Like the Six of Swords, it's like constantly moving. You're still traveling through your experience. News is on the way, so you may receive a message. I mean, I do see a lot of wings, right? It's the Four of Air, even the Pentacles, she's got wings. Even the Three of Earth, she's got wings. And even the Ace of Air, little unicorn's got wings, so little Pegasus. So that's amazing. Perhaps a feathers may be something to look out for as a sign from spirit. But may get a Twitter, but news is coming in the next 7 days. And then Pale, time to get out of a situation. So, right, like getting out of the stuck energy, or just in general, there may be a situation coming up in the next 7 days that requires you to dip out. So let's close off this reading with the charms. Let's grab some charms for my water signs. Charms for water signs that are upcoming 7 days. I'm still getting used to my lingo. I want to say this. Okay, so not a whole lot. I was like grabbing, okay, this key kept like grazing my finger, so well, memories are being unlocked. So this key point, the key point, get it? Didn't. But the key point for this next 7 days is memories, really. Looking through your experiences and how it's gotten you this far, and where, you know, how it can help you find more keys for the next part of your journey. We also have the letter N. So that's in the friend. Find yourself some friends with an N, maybe N, it could be an initial. We have the number 38, which also came up in the fire sign reading. And that breaks down to 11. So 1111 may be an important synchronicity. We also have the number 16. And then finally the number 15. So more progression, 15, 16. That's really cool. I mean, that's it. So that's what we have there. Zoom this in. And I'm gonna go ahead and end the reading here. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. If this reading resonated with you, let me know in the comments what you think. I do actually am feeling pretty good about this type of formatting, or like format in the way that it's timeless. So, because just to be completely honest, it does take a lot of energy from me to give readings, and I feel like there's so many good messages and so much good insight throughout the readings that I've given in the past that may go unnoticed or unwatched just because there is like a timestamp to them. So it feels so limited, and I want this to be limitless and touch whoever it needs to and reach whoever it needs to. And just to, you know, it's gonna be okay. This week is gonna be fine. The next 7 days is gonna be fine. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching. So yeah, I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, it's okay if it doesn't, but if you found some piece of this meaningful, then that may be the highlight of the reading for you. So please take it as it does. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you come back and see me again in another reading. Okay, take care, water signs. Bye.